Hello everybody, welcome to OCHD and welcome to another Jumputi Heroes news video. Today we're going to be talking about the My Hero Academia All Out War feature festival. Now I've got to say, in the past, in terms of like My Hero Academia content, you can say that they've got a lot of content. You can say that they've got a lot of like quite good characters people wanted to see in the game. That's, you know, that's fine. And in terms of like its treatment compared to other series, I mean, of course, it's got so much content compared to like some series that came out, you know, on launch day or, you know, or should be considered as popular, haven't got anywhere near as much content. So in that regard, My Hero Academia has been treated quite well over the years. But in terms of the actual, I feel, impact of the content when it's come out, it's always felt just a little bit like I don't know, like they just made bad choices that made the feature festivals not as exciting, and the content that came in between just felt like bad choices at the wrong time, and it didn't work for me. A lot of it didn't work for me. But let me tell you, this, as far as My Hero Academia content goes, is one of what is the best feature festival they've ever had. Some people are saying it's one of the best feature festivals in the game's history. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd go that far. But it's a very good feature festival, and it's helped along by the fact that it has 9 units, which we don't see that often anymore. Admittedly, one of those is like a special thing, which we'll talk about later. But it's a big win, and we're going to go through and we're going to talk about all the different points as we go through. But just looking at that image, God damn, it feels jam-packed. I know a lot of these units like are not necessarily from, like, you know, they got Mr. Compress and Twice and that. They're already in the game, you know, it's whatever. But it's very nice. It's very nice. Now, this event is sort of split into 2 parts, and actually there's 2 title screens. There's like a Heroes title screen and a Villains one. The Heroes one, I believe, for the first half of the event, and the Villains one for the second half. And then there's a login bonus to go with that and all that stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the way they've sort of laid out some of the rewards and some of the good stuff is basically fight alongside the heroes against the villains, fight alongside the villains against the heroes. And one of the first things, something that's easy to miss, is they give you this Deku for free, but you might already have him because he is a free unit anyway. And you have to include him in your team and clear 10 stages in order to get some additional rewards. And there's a few little things like this throughout this event, which I'll try and touch on where I can. Some of the things I'm only just finding out today because they didn't really publish it in the news. So we'll try and hit on those as we go through. But nice login bonus, gives us 10 of the new tickets, which of course are pretty damn good. We'll talk about that banner in a moment. The part 2 is basically the same thing, but with version 1 Shigaraki instead of version, I don't know, version 5 Deku or whatever it is. But basically the free-to-play Deku, the free-to-play Shigaraki. And you got to do the same thing with Shigaraki. You have to include him in your team. I assume that he's like got a decent boost on the like point stage, so it's not going to be that hard to include him when farming for that. So you might not miss this reward, but if you haven't gotten it towards the end of the event, just remember you got to do this. And here's the ticket gacha. Now, obviously this has all the hero grade My Hero Academia units, including the new ones from this event, and they're becoming more generous with these. I'm noticing they're becoming a lot more generous. I mean, in that One Piece event, they gave out so many of them. Now, I think the reason it feels like they're being more generous, I mean, they just are, to be honest, but the reason it feels that way is because the pools are getting so big at this point. I mean, if I had 100 tickets and it's a 5% 5-star rate, so I get 5 stars out of that, you'd probably think I'm going to get a pretty good haul, but there's so many My Hero Academia 5 stars. There's no guarantee I get something from this year or even from last year. I could get like 2018 dupes quite easily, 2019 dupes, so I guess it kind of makes sense that they are more generous here. And if you get lucky, then hey, pretty cool. And if you don't, you can at least dupe up some of the old units. You can at least, if you haven't maxed out, like, I think Mineta goes up to 6-star and Ochako goes up to 6-star. you haven't maxed their luck, you can do that. And you can sell any extra dupes for medals. So it's cool. It's cool. It gives us an opportunity to do summons even if we're not willing to spend rubies. I like it. I like how generous they've been. And here's some more of those tickets. To get them, you just have to go to the mission, click on it, and click back. You don't actually have to go to the website. And you get 10 of those. But the idea is that you're supposed to go and read chapter 1, but we're not doing that. We're not doing it. You just click on it, you click back. And then this is a sort of overarching campaign type event. You just get points for clearing stages. That's all you have to do. Doesn't matter if it's like the Evolver stuff, story modes, Sparks, the Event Island, the Logbook. They all give points. Now, Event Island and Logbook give more points, but still, they all give points. And you just keep clearing the stages to earn more points, which you can then trade for luxury rewards. If you care about the emblems, they're there. I think a couple of those are pretty cool. Some of them are kind of whatever. But there are other like premium rewards in there that you might want to get your hands on. I think I probably will. I mean, these tickets, obviously, I just love doing the free summons. I can't lie. And you could also get 500 rubies and a golden jewel shard. Now, as far as I know, there's only one available from this event, but seems like it's going to be a thing moving forward that they're just going to occasionally throw one out as a reward. And you just have to over time save them up and get enough. 4. You only need 4. You eventually get enough to trade that in and get a golden jewel. It's a super premium reward because if you think about it logically, if they give you a set of jewels, that's the equivalent to 3 jewels. If they give you a golden jewel, that's the equivalent to 27 jewels. So a golden jewel shard is 1/4 of that. It takes you 1 step towards getting those 27 jewels. So it's a very premium reward. And it just kind of depends how often they're going to give those. I don't know how hard it is to get 20,000 points because I haven't played much of this event yet since it's come out. But you get some bonus points for clearing these missions, and obviously you're just going to get from just playing the game. So hopefully you'll be able to get that. If not, at least hopefully you'll be able to get the 500 rubies. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Then we have the 2 bingo campaigns, the hero one and the villain one. The missions and the rewards are slightly different on these. Ultimately, I don't think the missions matter that much because realistically, we're going to clear them all as a community anyway. You don't have to do something specific as an individual to get these rewards. But in terms of the rewards being different, I mean, the rewards in part 1 are pretty good. You get 100 rubies, you get some pretty good 10 of these tickets, you get some hero jewels, pretty good stuff. Over here, you get a set of full jewels, you get 100 rubies. Yeah, I mean, they're just both great. You just come in and collect your rewards, guys. Just come in and collect your rewards. Again, like, as a community, we will clear all of these, no problem. So it's fine. Maybe someday there'll come a time where it's like difficult for us to do it, but I feel like the devs don't like putting out community events that can't be beat. It's very rare that we don't beat them. And the only times we don't is when it's like how would we even know how many like coins we've earned as a community without them telling us? We wouldn't. But like the ones where it's like get a certain amount of retweets or something like that, they don't really have control over that. So if that goes wrong, then it's like, oh, well, you know, there's nothing we could do. But with this, it's like we don't even see the numbers. So, there was the one campaign, which was the like dark fantasy one, where it was very obvious to anybody that tried to play that event. One of the stages was like so difficult, and we had to, as a community, clear it so many times, and it was just like, there's not even any point in clearing it more than once, and they want us to sit there and farm a super difficult event a ton of times with no reward, wasting our stamina to maybe get the reward if we can as a community hit that number. And obviously we didn't hit it, and that was silly. That was silly. Ultimately, we did get those rewards because they published those gift links in a news post, but I don't think they're going to do that here. I think this is going to be a little bit easier. The daily stage, they are continuing the trend of 50 rubies a day from this, which is very, very nice. You can also get from missions an intern choice ticket and a League of Villains multi-ticket. The intern choice ticket is for part 1 of the event. which runs until the 8th, and then the villain multi-ticket is for part 2. Pretty good stuff, pretty good rewards. The intern choice ticket is going to let you choose one of these old My Hero Academia characters. It's just supposed to be the characters that exist as a standard gacha unit in the game already, and are one of the characters we see going and doing the like hero internship. So pretty good if you're missing some of these units from last year, but ultimately it is a bunch of old units. They're all available on the standard choice ticket as of later today, so it is what it is. But still a nice reward, especially if you're new to the game. My Hero Academia fan, very, very nice opportunity to add one of those to your team. Then we have the villains one. Now this one is interesting. So this banner is almost entirely event units. All of these units are available, I believe, like in the voyage log, or their event will be reprinted or something. But pretty much all of them are available outside of this, except for this Himiko Toga, who, yes, will be available, but not on an event, rather on a gacha. She is one of the new gacha units added during this event. Not to be confused with version 1 Toga. This is the version 2. So they're giving us another opportunity to get her for free on top of the other tickets. I don't know what the rates look like on this banner. I don't know how many of these tickets we're going to get. So it's a bit unclear whether your odds of getting her here or in the other ticket are better or worse. I don't know. But I'm hoping we get more than one of these tickets. I don't know if I'm hoping for that in vain. I'm not sure. So far, they have only listed one of them in the entire event. And that is to get from here, from the daily stage, clear once, and you get that. So I don't know if we're going to get more, though they have listed that this gacha is supposed to start on the first day of the event, and I can see no way to get it on the first day of the event. You can only get it from part 2. So here's hoping that they decide to give us a bunch of these and give us an opportunity to try and get Toga for free. But I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. Then we have Villain and Hero, which is continuing the trend again of the like daily stage you can clear 3 times a day. I feel like they're slowly moving us away from the old way of doing things, which was every so often you might have to go and do a bunch of the like the skill up stages, or you might need to try and find a way to get a bunch of scrolls and feed those. Like, I feel like they're moving us into a place where it's like every event there is going to be a stage that gives a decent amount of skill experience. So you just have to keep that in mind, and you have to make a team that you can put in there, and you can level up a bunch of skills all at once. And you just got to do that every event. If you keep doing that every event, you'll never have to use scrolls on your characters, which is pretty good. That's the situation I am in right now. You get a new unit, you just put them in the skill up team, and then you go do the skill up stage, and you keep doing it throughout the event. And it's all good. It's all good. This stage also gives us midnight. If you miss some of the days of the event, and the reason I've pointed this out here is because myself and a few others missed at least one day of the Zoro event in the One Piece feature festival. And the thing is, the reason why we missed it is because the first day wasn't a full day, so it was quite easy to miss. I probably could have done it, but I was busy doing like the news posts and stuff, and I was going to sort out a team for skill ups, and I just forgot, and I missed the day. So if you happen to miss a day on this one, you don't have to worry about it, because even if you somehow miss out on all the copies of Midnight, or some of the copies of Midnight, you can purchase her from the store, which will be in this event down here. So you're not going to miss out. You can max her out, even if you miss a couple of days. But don't miss them. If you can avoid it, don't miss them. This is the first of 2 points events. There's kind of the points campaign thing we mentioned earlier, but this is the first of 2 proper points events. You defeat villains to get defeated villains points, and you can trade those in for luxury rewards, including some hidden potential stuff, some jewels, some rubies, and the new event unit Present Mike from My Hero Academia. Again, I think we're getting some pretty good additions with the characters. I think the sprites look really good. So I'm pretty happy with these additions so far. And yeah, just farm it, get points, and get rewards. Now, I will point out in terms of the hidden potential stuff, while I appreciate they're making those more accessible and that people can go and get them, in the One Piece event, it got towards the end of the event and I realized they were just a bit too expensive and there was no way I was going to spend the extra stamina to try and get those rewards. But even if you can't get these, the like slabs, even the colored ones or the whatever, even if you can't get those, get the heroic crystals, because they don't give us enough of these. These ones at some point you'll be able to farm. These ones at some point you'll be able to farm. The heroic crystals, they're quite few and far between, so just make sure to grab that when you have the opportunity. Then we have the Thrill of Destruction, which is a challenge stage, which it's the first day of the event, so we don't want to jump to conclusions, because eventually someone may or may not work out a strategy for this event that makes it a lot more palatable. But right now it is one of the most difficult stages currently available. It seems like most of the teams, well, I mean, if you go on the recommended, I have not been able to get a team to show up in recommended that doesn't have Deku. I am certain people will be able to do it without him, but I haven't seen it yet as of recording this video. I'm sure it can be done, but it's one of those just like ridiculously silly stages. Now, people might be wondering, they did say they were going to release some harder content, and this event is called like a Doomsday class event. Is this the new classification above Catastrophe? Because it does have a higher value on the like, I can't remember what it's called, but like the number that shows up to show you how difficult the stage is, like the recommended team points or whatever. And officially speaking, no. Officially speaking, this is like just a challenge stage of sorts. They haven't added the extra little bit after Catastrophe to tell us what the next stage is and how difficult that's going to be. They said, I believe they said late June for that, so maybe we'll see that in whatever gets imported from Taiwan, or is that the next event? I think it is the next event. So we'll see. We'll see what's planned there. I don't actually, let me actually check, because I think they did say it was late June for the new challenging content. Better to check than just guess, I think. Roadmap. Yeah, so after My Hero Academia is the Taiwan imports in the New World event, which will be bringing a new Densetsu grade unit, and I am assuming that Densetsu grade unit will probably counter whatever the new difficulty is going to be. So look forward to that. It might even be harder than this, I don't know. The rewards are like pretty good, but it's like we've had challenge stages that give 100 rubies in the last couple of events, and this one doesn't give that. It gives 10 jewel shards and a couple of other stuff. So I think they're sort of testing the waters with this stage, but it's just funny because it's like, if you look at Deku's kit, Deku counters like so much stuff in his passive, and he just has so much like nonsense going on in his passive, and pretty much all of it is going to help you beat this stage. But if you don't have him, this could be quite tricky. I don't know, but still, if you like the My Villain Academia emblem, then go nuts, I guess. Then we have Deep Blue Battle, which is another challenge stage. Should not be as difficult. Is not listed to be as difficult. Should just be a Catastrophe class stage. Haven't tried it yet, so I don't know. But you get a chat stamp, which is pretty cool. The rewards are worse, but take what you can get, I suppose. I mean, I like the idea of having lots of different little challenge stages. I would prefer some more like, I mean, I've said it in the past, more like what you see on OPTC, like training forest type things. But even OPTC, I think, doesn't put as much focus on that sort of stuff anymore. So I don't know if this game would do it, but a challenge that is less about, oh, you've got 3 turns and then you instantly get killed, or you have to have this best team to beat it. Like the sort of thing where it's like 20 stages in a row, and it's like it's incrementally getting harder, and you have to manage like your cooldowns, and you have to manage like what bubbles are on the board, and you have to try and remember what gimmicks you have to deal with at each phase, and then you get a big reward at the end. I like that kind of thing. We don't really have that kind of thing, so maybe at some point, but still, they're improving with the types of challenge content they're providing. Some of it's a little bit maybe too difficult for now, but again, I think we'll figure it out later. We'll figure it out later. This is the second points event, the showdown with the heroes. They are again becoming a lot more generous with these like limited choice ticket fragments and stuff like that. I think the reasoning is pretty much like there's just so many limiteds at this point, and it's kind of like just getting one copy of them is not enough, because like, well, it's enough because you have the character, but you're still gonna have to get up to level 15, and it's like, do you necessarily have access to the resources for that? And they're happy to let you figure out how you're gonna do that, because they know how many jewels they're giving out, and they have in the back of their head, oh, if you've got this unit, this unit, this unit, there's no way you've got them all maxed in that short period of time, so maybe you'll spend some money on the game. I don't know. I think that's the sort of thoughts that pop into their heads. So I mean, look, I'm down. I've got 2 of those limited choice tickets ready from the fragments for the update. Haven't decided if I'm going to use them straight away and who I might use them on. I might wait and see if there's a new super difficult stage coming up in the next event, whether one of those units I might be able to choose that could help me rather than choosing before I know what I might need. Plus, I don't want to use them before the shop reset thing, because obviously the shop reset thing lets you pull some units from last year, and I might get lucky, I don't know. But still, very nice that they're giving us that, and the rubies, and of course the Wonder Slab. If you can't afford all of this, make sure you grab yourself the Wonder Slab. And the reason I say that is because 1 Wonder Slab is equal to 50 of any of these, so it's definitely worth it. Jewel shards and jewels and all that good stuff. Very, very nice. This one doesn't add a character. It should be pointed out, I think both of these stores start with rubies in them, and both of these stores will get additional rubies added later. I think the total ends up being about 400 for both events, like 100, and then it gets restocked 200 for the first event, and then the same thing for the second event. I believe that's the case. It might be 50, I'm not sure, but regardless, rubies, we'll take those. We'll definitely take those. And pretty cool to have the like hero side, villain side. I kind of like that. And then obviously we had the heroes fighting against the villains, and then it had a few villain stages, and now we've got the opposite. So now we've got a stage where we're the villains fighting against the hero. We're fighting against Endeavor. A lot of people would agree that version 2 Endeavor probably should have been a villain. Not a villain. A limited. Should have been a limited. But they kind of jumped the gun making version 1 a limited, and it's like, do you make 2 limited Endeavors? Some people would say yes, others would say no. I'm a bit undecided on it. I think this is a very cool event unit though. I'm not too mad about it. I think this does kind of kill off his potential for the future, because I mean, he does show up more in the story after this, but it's kind of like, this is like in the lead up to his whole thing with Shigaraki, so that's like a really cool moment. So I don't know. I think it's nice that we have him. It's nice that we have a farmable Endeavor. That's pretty cool. Gives you a chat stamp, which is pretty nice. The rewards are like pretty nice. I don't know. It's alright. And then this is one of the coolest things they've done this year. They have given us a costume for Derby, and this costume actually is a full visual transformation. It's not just like a stinky little aura around there, whatever. It's not like one of those things that's just like an afterthought they have. I know ultimately they've just changed the color of his hair and given us a little aura, but it has some significance in the story. And I've said this before, when we talk about like the costumes having a significance in the story, they said, oh no, well, we don't want to give costumes to characters that are gonna like change their appearance too much, because maybe they didn't use their special attack in that form, and maybe it will look funny and people won't like it, and blah blah blah, whatever. They came up with all these stupid reasons for why they don't do those kind of costumes anymore. But look at this one, and the response to this was electric. People love to see this, myself included. And so I hope moving forward they go, okay, people like this, so we should do this more often. We should give people an option to get like a special costume for a character. Like, because I think Darby already had like a blue aura costume or whatever, but this one gives us the white hair. It's a point in the story they're referring to here. Now, as for how you get it, it just says missions. We don't really know yet. I guess we'll know during the second half of the event. I have a feeling there's a few little bits they're going to announce for the second half of the event that hasn't been disclosed here. Not necessarily anything major, but like maybe some little campaign type things, maybe some rewards and missions and stuff like that. They're just not telling us just yet. So I look forward to figuring out what that is. Then we have Unity Battle. Now this was the special thing I was talking about. Also, love the new Unity Battle format. I think 100,000 is like, is it 100,000 or is it 100 million? It's 100 million. I think 100 million is like, it's just on the side of like, oh, this is taking too long. But the rewards are there, and it's sort of like you're making the decision. It's like, do I want these rewards? If the answer is no, I don't need to go any further. But if the answer is yes, well, then that's on me. If I want to do it, I gotta do it. And it's like, I think that's a good trade. We're not getting to the point of like treasure map on OPTC or like the world tournament on Dokkan, where I just want to die and I want to die and I want to keep dying and keep dying. I hated those game modes because they took too long. Not helped by the fact on OPTC that it's not just as simple as play the game. It's like you're battling against the loading screens constantly. This is manageable. This is a manageable period of time for people who do want to go for the rewards. And for people that don't, you can still do like a few runs and get like a decent chunk of rewards. So I'm pretty happy with it. Now we're getting our first new Unity Battle unit since ages ago. It's been a couple of years since the last one. So pretty cool. I don't really know what to expect in terms of how strong he is. Also in terms of, I mean, they mentioned something in the past about maybe making some of the Unity Battle units like 99 luck, like making that a possibility. So far they haven't implemented anything like that, but this would be the first new unit since they've said that, so maybe they'll make it possible to get him to 99 luck. I'm not sure. I'm hoping he's strong though, because I feel like the Unity Battle units, that's something they need. Also, one thing, if they could please update the Unity Battle store so I can hold more of the currency. There's no reason for them to limit how much I can hold, except to stop me from saving. It's just rude. I'm only saving because there's nothing to spend on. If you put stuff in for me to spend on, then I'm not saving. And here you go. So you put something in, so now we can remove that cap, okay? But very nice addition. For me, it's like, it's not necessarily about which character you choose for the Unity Battle. It's about having just like a character that you could justify being pretty damn strong for an event unit and giving us something to invest our currency in for this store. So it's another reason to play this game mode. You're not just playing for this and for this and for this, but you need the Soldier's Souls so that you can spend them in the store and get some goodies there. Pretty nice addition. Then we have the My Hero Academia Tower Boost. As you know, I don't care, but if you do care and you don't have the new My Hero Academia units, you may have a hard time from the 5th until the 11th. I have a feeling it's going to be a treacherous Tower Week for those who do not invest in the new limiteds, but there you have it. We have the Max Luck Special Reward campaign. They actually removed the Jewel Shard reward from this, which is a bit of a shame, but we get 10 of these tickets, which is pretty good. I mean, the rewards are still pretty good, but I miss the Jewel Shards, I do. We have the level 15 update for Endeavor and Senku, which is cool. But in addition to that, Hashirama Senju, who already got his level 15 update, is now also receiving an additional buff, which is now live in game, and he has become a lot stronger out of nowhere. And yeah, I guess if you have Hashirama Senju, good for you. If you don't, they're not really reprinting him or anything. He is being put in the Superstar banner again, but if you're unfamiliar with the Superstar banner, your odds of pulling a Muso or a Densetsu on the Superstar banner are almost the same as your odds of pulling them in any other banner, in that they are so astronomically small they may as well be zero. And the guarantees in there give you no opportunity to guarantee the Muso or the Densetsu or whatever. And so we'll talk about that banner a bit more when we get down to it. But basically, there's no proper Hashirama reprint, which felt a bit odd to me. But interesting, I suppose. It's interesting. They just buffed him out of nowhere. Maybe they'll do that for other units. Maybe other units are just going to get buffed out of nowhere. And if they do, things could get a little bit scary in terms of how strong these units get, but whatever. We have a hidden potential update. That is Todoroki getting the panels update. I haven't really been doing that many of the heroes, but I mean, I guess I'm starting to save up a few of these materials, so maybe I'll do someone at some point, but I'm not sure who. I did all the original limiteds, so I'm kind of waiting for a new batch of limiteds, but still pretty cool. You have Endeavor, who you can now get for free, which they give him the level 15 update and they give him to you for free. That's so kind of them. That's so generous. I love that they just keep throwing like a free limited in the Voyage Log store. I think that's really cool. And Endeavor was already pretty strong, so add the level 15 update in there as well. Pretty nice. Fits in with the theme in the event as well. Pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, there's just no downside to that, really. Go farm the Voyage Log when you have an opportunity. Then we have the limited gacha. Now, this is a bit spicy. It's a bit spicy. 2 limiteds, 3 standard gacha units, which is a pretty nice 5-unit haul for this banner. Like I said, 9-unit event is pretty packed out. I'm pretty happy with all the standard gacha unit picks. I think Mirako, I really was hoping would be a limited. So I'm a bit disappointed in that regard. But the rest I can't complain about. I mean, Toga being free originally, it felt a little bit odd to me, but they weren't doing as many villains as standard gacha. So in a sense, I guess I kind of got it. But now it's becoming more of a common thing, and they're just kind of doing what they want. And now we've got a Dark Hero Limited and a Dark Hero standard gacha unit in the same banner as a Hero Limited and 2 Hero standard gacha. Bro, I'm down. This banner stacked. It's crazy. And it's such a shame because they've just announced a new Densetsu, which I don't know if I'm going to summon on it because I don't know who it is. But under normal circumstances, I probably would have been tempted to pull for this Shigaraki. I was pushing hard for this Shigaraki to be a Dark Hero Limited eventually, for them to do a Dark Heroes event and for him to be like one of the headlines. I was really pushing for it. And it just seemed like they'd forgotten Dark Heroes events and maybe it wasn't going to happen and whatever. But there he is, and he's limited, and the sprite looks insane. Now, admittedly, I was thinking more the arc just prior to this, the fight against Redestro. But I'm not going to complain, bro. I'm not going to complain. This looks incredible. And notice how this is something I've noticed My Hero Academia characters kind of get the special treatment on, but it's very rare. You can see it on the original All Might. When he came out and he was standing next to Shanks, it was very clear that Shanks used the traditional sort of brownish color on the outlines, which almost all of the characters had at the time. This sort of brownish color on the outlines of the sprite. And All Might had these thicker black lines, which looked truer to his art style from the manga, from what we've come to expect of Horikoshi and the way he draws All Might. And at the time, that was pretty cool, but that sort of thing didn't happen that often. I was okay, fair enough. They've come back again, My Hero Academia, with a special treatment, and they've taken away the outlines on Shigaraki's hair to match the art style from the manga. I really like it. I really like it. It looks really good. And the temptation to pull for him, I'm not gonna lie, it's very tempting. Because I don't know what to expect from this New World event is the only reason I'm sort of holding back. Plus the 55th anniversary, I mean, who knows? And there's lots of talk of like Year 5 Luffy and like all kinds of other stuff that could come during this period. And I'm kind of like, if the Densetsu ends up being something I don't care about, hopefully we know before this banner goes away, and then I might just go for Shigaraki. But then I still have the looming fear of what could be coming for the 55th anniversary. So it's kind of tough. It's hard to balance my rubies at the moment. But I really do want to summon for him. As for the Deku, I did think we needed a limited Deku. And we have gotten one. I personally feel like the arc after this, where he's running around in his like hobo, you know, doomsday costume sort of thing, I felt like that was cooler. I felt like that was more suited to a limited, but it kind of makes sense to pull it all together and have it. It's like, this is the arc where these two fought and Endeavor was there and all these other characters were there. And it's like, this makes the most sense. We're actually taking a point in the actual story and making it like, this is like, it's like, oh, this is him in his form when he fought him. And this is him in his form when he fought him. It's like actually from a specific battle, which, I mean, it does happen. But I feel like it's not that common. I feel like we did have it in the Dark Fantasy event where it was like the version of Alan that fought the version of Tiki Mick. Sometimes that could be a little bit restricting, I think, but it still makes for a very cool gacha, I've got to say. And I'm very happy with the picks. I'm very happy with the sprites. And I would say the one downside, because I can kind of get over the whole like bits of the story these two have been chosen from thing. The one downside is I really feel like Mirako should have been a limited. And I feel like in another world, Mirako is a limited, but not in this one, unfortunately. There's maybe a chance at a version 2, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. Moving on to the other stuff. We actually have something that we don't normally get. This is a new Heroes gacha separate from the Limited and Heroes. Now, in the past, there have been times where they've sort of had a banner like this and it just wouldn't have had the new Heroes on it. And then they would add the separate new Heroes banner. But I think they felt like that wasn't lucrative enough. And they've probably felt like people were foregoing summoning on the new heroes so they could go for the limiteds and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, we'll include them in the limited banner. But for the people that wanted the new heroes, say for example, I know a lot of people that will be interested in Miracle or interested in Toga. Maybe you don't want to go in on this banner because this is like a random chance to get one of them. If you miss out on that 5th multi, the next time you have a chance at one of them, on the 12th multi, and then the only way you can get the one you want guaranteed is to go to the 15th multi, which you would normally use to choose whichever limited you missed out on the 9th multi, and you'd have to go to the 15th multi to choose a standard gacha unit. That sucks. This banner, you only have to go to the 7th multi to get them guaranteed. Now, admittedly, one rotation does not necessarily guarantee that you would get all 3, because you get a random one here and a random one here, and that could be, say for example, Mount Lady in there, and then Mount Lady in there again, and then you have to use the choice ticket, and you could only get one of the other 2. So you would miss out on one in that situation. But the fact that it's there, that's the thing. I personally wouldn't go for this, but I know that there's people that might, and people that would just like to have that option, and that's what it's about. This is not necessarily a good gacha by itself, but for the people that do want that specific unit from the specific banner, it's giving you that option. So I really respect that. I really like that. Nice touch from the devs. Nice touch. Then we have the returning legend, Densetsu All Might. Now, All Might did not get a buff, but he did get a reprint. He has come back. Personally, in the current climate, I can't really recommend summoning on this banner. Maybe when he gets a Hashirama-esque random buff out of nowhere, I could do that. It's not to say that All Might's like bad, but the price you have to pay, and what content is he going to help you beat that you couldn't beat with one of the other units that are currently available? it's a bit silly. It's a bit silly for me. But someday he'll probably get a buff and it'll be pretty good. But 32 multis, or no, it's only 30 multis on here, but it's actually more expensive. Work that one out. Yeah, no, I can't in good conscience recommend summoning him, which is a shame because he's so cool, and on paper some of his abilities sound really cool, but in practice, he has his place. It's just he doesn't get the same sort of use as maybe some of the other units. Like, I feel like if you look at Ging, who's another Densetsu grade unit, he has got a slot locked down. If you need 2 copy units, well, you have to use Ging, because you can use one for, like, say for example, if it's a blue team, you can use Crollo. You can't use like Nightmare Luffy or any of the other copy units, but you can use Ging if you need that second copy. Admittedly, that has made PvP a bit cancerous, but that's neither here nor there. It was already cancerous to begin with. But in the same way, Kisuke has a very special role in that there are a lot of stages he has no business beating that you can beat using him. And he just goes into teams that he probably shouldn't be in and stuff like that. Like, honestly, I was looking for like recommended teams for Ryzen, and it was like, yo, just bring Kisuke. What are you doing? Just bring Kisuke. It's like, he's not even made for this stage. What's going on? But actually, he does fill a role, which is weird. I feel like All Might doesn't really have that out of all of the Densetsu units. I'm hoping whoever the next one is has that role, has one specific thing where it's like, whether it's PvE, whether it's PvP, whether it's a specific sport thing, whatever, they have one thing where it's like, if I bring you, I am set. And hopefully All Might will get a buff, and he will also have that at some point, but not right now. Then we have the June birthday gacha officially announced that they have skipped, theoretically, Onodera, which is a bit of a questionable one anyway, because the limited Onodera is not the same Onodera as the one from Nisukoi, and we don't know the official birthday of the one from Magical Patissiere. So it's like, is it the same birthday? Does she not have a birthday? Like, what's going on? But she does not have a birthday gacha here. And Denbo has been skipped, but Denbo only came out this year, so there's a good chance that Denbo would be reprinted in a birthday gacha next year if they were going to. I mean, I don't know if they will, but I assume they will. In terms of the gacha we did get, we've got Kanroji. Oh, it's tempting. It is a tempting one. I can't lie, but I must resist. I must save. But of course, I'll do the free multi. Everybody should. Yugi's birthday. Again, I'll do the free multi. Well, all of them I'll do the free multi, but I know a lot of people who maybe don't have the Yugi copies that might be tempted. Itachi, who is obviously a copy unit, which if you don't have it might be tempting, but it's hard to recommend pulling on the birthday gacha, it really is. But still, the free multi, make sure you do that. Even for the All Might gacha, it's weird how much they don't like give the respect to like version 1 All Might. It's like he was one of the first limiteds. He came out for the first anniversary of the game. He was like a big deal when he came out. I wouldn't say even at the time when he came out he was like the super strongest or whatever, but I feel like some other units from around the same time have got special buffs and have become a lot stronger and whatever. Maybe a time will come when I'll go back and I'll revisit him and I'll make him stronger. But maybe they feel a little bit like, oh, he's taken the limelight away from the Densetsu one, so let's not reprint him too often. But for his birthday, there he is. And then Hughes, this one will be super tempting for a lot of people, because I'm pretty sure all the other units... Wait, would any of the other weakeners be on a birthday gacha this year? Boa might be. I don't know when Boa's birthday is. Boa is the only other one, and Boa will be featured with version 1 Boa. So there's no guarantee you get her on one rotation, but with Hughes, you'd be guaranteed to get him on one rotation. So this one's very tempting, but I mean, good luck to you if you do go for it. And then Kenshin, and then Hinata. So again, just keep an eye out. I'll normally tweet out whenever these banners go live. I'll normally post in Discord whenever these banners go live. Make sure to summon on these birthday banners, get your free multis in. The sales packs, this is, at the time of me making the news post, this was the only one that was officially announced, but there are others. And as always, I do not recommend buying it. So that's easy. Get that out of the way. We have the level 15 level cap release limited gacha. I think this one officially has not been announced yet, but it will be coming out, and you will get a free multi on this banner. A chance to get the level 15 new units, which is Senku and Endeavor. Obviously, you can get Endeavor for free, but you might need some duplicates. I mean, I can't see many people going all the way on this one, to be honest. But Senku's been buffed, and Senku is stronger, so there might be a temptation to go for him. But just remember, considering you're going to get Endeavor for free, this one's a lot riskier, because it's like 6th multi, you might get Endeavor. 9th multi, you might get Endeavor, and then you have to go 12 multis just to get Senku. When I know for a fact there is a Dr. Stone Hero Unlimited banner, which won't be on this news post because it wasn't a new banner added, it was like a reprinted one or whatever. I think you'd be able to get Senku on that for cheaper. So it's like on this one, yeah, there's an opportunity to get him cheaper, but if you want the guarantee, I think the other one would probably be more suitable. Either way, probably wouldn't go for him. I'd probably go for this banner. If I was going to be pulling on any of the clickbait banners, this one, oh my word. A lot of very strong units. By the way, this banner is out. When I was making the news post, it hadn't been officially announced, and then they just shadow dropped it on day one of the event. This banner is out. You have an opportunity to get Dembo, who is super strong. Guy, who is... he's a bit of a problem. He's a bit of a problem. And then obviously Gohan and the Golden Duo. This banner is nuts. It was nuts last time, and it's nuts this time. I'm not going to go for it because I have Guy and Dembo. But if you didn't have any of these and you attempted, I would not stop you. I certainly wouldn't stop you. At least in a free multi, of course, but only 10 multis and you get a choice ticket. You can choose one of these. That's pretty good. I can't lie to you. Pretty nice. Then we have this gacha, which they are incessant on reprinting, and it doesn't get any better. I still don't like it, so I wouldn't recommend going on it. This banner I mentioned before, the Superstar banner. This is Hashirama got buffed out of nowhere, and right now, if you wanted to summon for him, you didn't own him, this is the only way you can get him. And it's bullshit. Because the odds are already so low of getting him on this banner. There is no amount of steps you can do on this banner to get him guaranteed. And they've also put Vegito in there, so his odds are even lower than they would have been. It's just smelly. I don't understand the choice there. But no, there's nothing. There's no redeeming qualities. Don't summon on this banner. Then we have the 5-step gacha. Not bad value, but it's a bit... The thing is, again, Endeavor is featured front and center on this banner. Obviously, there's a selection of My Hero Academia Limiteds here. It's like, you've just given me Endeavor for free. You think I'm going to do 5 multis to have a chance of getting him again? Like, yeah, I might get something else good, but let's be real. I personally probably can't really recommend this one. This one, on the other hand, we've got the newly buffed Senku, plus you've got Dr. Zeno and Ryusui. Now, I have Ryusui and Senku, so obviously I wouldn't go for this. But if you didn't have any of them and you're like a Dr. Stone fan, 5 multis to get any one of those free guaranteed, that's got to be tempting. Like, I'm not saying it's a good option, especially with the current climate and them just shadow dropping these ridiculous banners out of nowhere. But it would be tempting. It would be tempting. And then we have some of the sales packs. This one is not worth it. This one, again, it has the word chance in it, which means not worth it. Has the word chance in it, which means not worth it. And has the word chance in it, which means not worth it. This one, it says on here, we don't know when it's coming back. But actually, we do know. It was announced today that it's coming back today. It's out right now. And this pack gets my official seal of approval. 480 for 500 rubies. Top value. Top value. If the number on the yen is lower than the number of rubies, it's a good time. And yeah, good pack. You can buy it 3 times. Normally you can buy it 5. You can only buy it 3 this time. I don't say no to a good deal. They also brought back the one that's like 1900 yen for 2000 rubies, which is not in here, but you can see it in the sales right now. That one also gets my seal of approval. Very, very nice. And then not worth it, not worth it, not worth it, not worth it. That's it. We got through the sales page. Now, there was just one more thing I wanted to talk about. Now, actually, is there more? No, I think there's only one. We're still waiting to find out what's going on with Taiwan and their next event and our next event and the next Densetsu grade unit. And Taiwan's going to have a new special hidden limited unit we don't know about. There's a lot of things happening. Sometimes Taiwan does like a shadow data download on a Thursday. So maybe. But one thing I did forget to mention, I did want to mention, they did put like a special mission in for this stage. I guess they're trying to encourage people to do co-op on it, because if you do co-op on it, you get like an obscene amount of gold. I think it's like 440 million or something like that. It's like quite a high number for beating the stage in co-op. Only for the first time, I assume, but it's like a special bonus or something. I only saw it in like the little news window thing. I haven't actually obtained it because I can't beat the stage, but I'm sure I'll give it a go at some point. But it's interesting. They're trying to give us bonus incentives for doing it in co-op, which I guess makes sense because some of these stages are hella hard and you're not going to be able to beat them outside of co-op. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll find somebody that has Deku and I'll say, hey, let's be friends. Let's see if we can beat this stage. But in any case, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it was helpful for you. Please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I will see you all next time.